Back at Red Wilson Field for the third game of the season, second time here at Red Wilson Field. I'm Will Connerly alongside Brad Klein, and the Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox coming off a win facing the Chatham Anglers. Both teams 1-0-1. It should be a good one today.
Absolutely, and Y-D coming off a really big win there. It was a 3-0 win on the road, and they really needed it too. Y-D got it because of defense. Yes, it was a clean game, only one error coming off of a 5-error performance in that opener, but also some timely hitting there. Briley Knight, especially the hero.
Timely hitting, timely defense. It was great to see. This pitching staff has done pretty well. More about that coming up in a little bit. But you talk about Chatham. They've used the long ball a couple times to get some of their runs. A big inning last night, 4 runs in a frame, and they're able to top Orleans. So both teams with 3 points right now in the Eastern Division, with the tie counting as a point. So rain was going to be in the forecast, but it seems like it might hold off, and the teams are warming up now, getting ready to get this game going.
Yeah, and I kind of think the baseball gods are looking down upon us here because the forecast is trickling farther and farther away from first pitch. That rain's going to come. The question is just when.
No doubt about it. Like to think about the pitching matchup as we always have highlighted that the last 2 games, in a left-hander on the mound for Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox. He's throwing his warm-up pitches right now, but had an incredible career thus far at Hartford.
Absolutely. Aaron Davenport will go for Y-D, or make that for Chatham. And for Y-D, they're going with Nick Dombrowski, right? And from Hartford, and you talk a lot about his level of play, but that shouldn't be an issue today because he is ready to go.
He's ready to go, and we're ready to go as well. Let's get this game going. The Yarmouth-Dennis Red Sox playing host to the Chatham Anglers, and it's Nick Dombrowski on the hill, the southpaw. He features a fastball primarily coupled with a changeup against the right-handers, and he'll see all but 2 right-handers in the lineup tonight here against Chatham, and his first pitch is in there for a strike. Really an interesting story about Dombrowski. The southpaw typically, in general, lefties have more success on the lefty-lefty matchups. However, that's not the case with Nick Dombrowski. He has much more success against right-handers.
Well, you look at that 318 batting average against lefties, reverse split guy. You don't see that very often, and Chatham is loaded with lefties too.
A right-hander at the plate right now, Seth Stevenson. Temple College playing shortstop today for Chatham. And the 1-2. Grounded to the left side. Graham has it at third, fires it over across the diamond to Compton, and there's one away. And Graham played the outfield in the first 2 games, went from center to left, and now he's at third base, 3 different positions for the Oklahoma Sooner.
He's been very impressive. He also had a run scored in the last game, and a guy that is able to contribute in every facet of the game, and that's why you see him moving around the diamond and in the outfield, you name it.
First pitch high from Dombrowski to Jake DeLeo. The center fielder today swinging it from the right side. Caden Grice, the first baseman's on deck. As we're just underway here at Red Wilson Field, a swing and a miss on a high fastball from Dombrowski. The left-hander threw a no-hitter this year. Just the second in program history. Drops the changeup, but it's too low. 2 balls and a strike here to DeLeo. DeLeo, a sophomore, Georgia Tech, and that one's in there for a strike. The upper portion of the strike zone, it just nipped that upper inside corner, so 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 from the lefty is skied toward the left side. Graham is going back to get it towards Y-D's dugout, but it's out of play. DeLeo 3 for 8 so far this season with 2 runs driven in for Chatham. And the Hartford lefty, this isn't his first rodeo in the Cape Cod League. The 6'2", 210-pound left-handed pitcher is from West Springfield, Massachusetts, but he played in the Cape Cod League in 2019 for Bourne and had a great season. What a backhanded play by Lee at first, but the throw goes low beyond Compton, and it's Jake DeLeo who will reach first base.
Well, that would have been a tough play for Lee. Compton would have had to make a great play especially, and DeLeo gets a free bag with the ball going out of play. That's a tough break for Lee because he almost had to throw it off of a hop with how unbalanced he was on the backhand. So Y-D, the victim of circumstance.
So DeLeo advances to second base on that overthrow. And the breaking ball's in there for a strike. He'll feature that slider against the lefties, the changeup primarily against the right-handed hitters, but changeup is a better pitch for him.
That's two consecutive changeup-heavy starters for Y-D, and we were talking to Pickler before the game. He said that that's no coincidence. That largely the starters are the ones who have a real grasp of the changeup, and it's the relievers with the fastball and then that marquee breaking ball, whether it's a curve, a slider, you name it.
Yeah, that was a very interesting point, but it holds to be true at most levels. You see those three-quarter guys out the pen who throw really hard break-off sliders, but the starters, the change-up fastball mix, and that's interesting because a lot of times those change-up guys not primarily going to be a strikeout pitch like a slider could be for some of these back-end relievers. You get more ground balls, you can go deeper into games if you can feature a changeup. And if you have a breaking ball that can go to hitters both ways, if you're a lefty, changeup and a slider, so you can keep the hitters off balance. That one's right back to Domkowski. He tosses it over to Compton at first, and there's two away, and DeLeo advances to third base on the 1-3 putout.
That's a great base running play by DeLeo. He was running on contact even though there was one out, but he recognized that it was a slow roller over to the pitcher Domkowski. If it was actually right back to him in a hurry and it didn't have as much side spin as it did, then he'd probably be a dead duck at third base because Domkowski glanced over to see if he had a play, and by the time he even looked, DeLeo was basically on third.
And here comes the catcher, Kevin Parada, the cleanup hitter for Chatham. You have all right-handed hitters in the order except Caden Grice, who's hitting third, and then Matthew Garcia, who's a switch hitter who will be swinging it from the left side, batting ninth. And that's going to be a base knock, a hit for Parada, and a run driven in. So in the top of the first, it's Parada who cashes in as DeLeo chugs along home, and it's a 1-0 lead for Chatham.
We talk a lot about how good this pitching staff has been for Y-D. Just 2 earned runs on the season. Granted, only 2 games, but still very impressive. That holds true. An unearned run rolls through.
So 2 hits so far for Chatham, but being hurt by the air, and the lefty delivers the first pitch in there for a strike here against Lyle Miller-Green, the right fielder today for Chatham. And Domkowski, an MLB draft hopeful, his second stint in the Cape at a sub-3 ERA in 2019 with Bourne, and that really helped him propel to have a ton of success at Hartford his junior and senior seasons. He had a great freshman campaign as well, was a freshman All-American, took a little bit of a step back his sophomore year, but came to the Cape with Bourne and really channeled in his stuff and had a great year this past 2 years at Hartford. Tossed a no-no in early May against Albany. 41 career starts for the Hartford Hawks, so he definitely feels comfortable on the mound, and Coach Pickler talked about it. When you see him on the mound, he's very comfortable, and he has a good presence on the mound, and trying to assert that today, getting the nod for the Y-D Red Sox, but it's an early lead for Chatham after 2 hits and an error have hurt the Red Sox here in the top of the first. And a strike 3, that's how the first inning will end. So a couple hits, 1 run scores, but 1 is stranded after Domkowski gets Lyle Miller-Green looking. And we'll set it to the bottom of the first on the Y-D Red Sox Network. Back for the bottom of the first here at Red Wilson Field. I'm Will Connerly. Happy to be alongside Brad Klein. And Red Wilson Field was the #1 attendance on opening night. 2,800 were in attendance. Not as many seem to be in the ballpark tonight, but still a healthy crowd coming out to see Chatham and the Y-D Red Sox square off. And the right-hander that the Red Sox will see, Aaron Davenport, out of the University of Hawaii, 6 foot 185 from Duvall, Washington. And the Friday night starter this past season, it was his sophomore year, had a pretty good campaign with Hawaii, led the team with 86 and 2/3 innings pitched, but has great command. One thing that stood out to me, only walked 12 batters over his first 10 starts at Hawaii, so definitely knows how to channel in his stuff and hit the strike zone consistently. And even in 2020, he had 4 wins and a 2.15 ERA, obviously in limited action with the shortened season, but beat #2 Vanderbilt during that after striking out 8 and tossing 6 scoreless innings against the Commodores.
Well, he mixes up his pitches very well, and the fastball is just one of his many weapons. Has saw the curveball a little bit in warm-ups, and it's got a lot of bite. The question is, can he command it?
And that's his bread and butter, getting to that fastball-curveball combination. And what you see with him a lot, a bigger guy likes to throw the fastball up in the zone a little bit, because when you throw that curveball that drops down a little bit, it can tunnel well with that breaking curveball in the 12-6 action. As the leadoff hitter Tanner Smith swinging it from the left side, playing left field today for Coach Pickler. And at the top of the lineup, 0 for 6 so far on the season, and he draws a free pass. He'll get aboard, and that brings up Brooks Lee. And you're mentioning it's to me, Brooks Lee and Aaron Davenport, not particularly a brand new combination or brand new opponent that Lee is going to see. He's been able to face Davenport before in his college days and actually hit a home run against him.
A 2-run home run, and now he has an opportunity to replicate that after the first walk in the past 10 innings for Y-D. They didn't draw a single walk yesterday on the road.
They were victims last night of many punch-outs. The first 2 games, they've had many strikeouts at the plate as Brooks Lee fouls that one down the right field line. But it was the pitching and late scoring. Late scoring has been a theme in the first 2 games, but here's Brooks Lee leading the team in hitting. He's 5 for 9 so far on the season, tied for the most hits in the league through 2 games. And starting tonight, 6 of Y-D's next 8 games will be here at Red Wilson Field. Grounded to the right side. Garcia throws it to second, and it is in time, so Tanner Smith is cut off the bases. Awfully close play at second, and Brooks Lee reaches on the fielder's choice to first base. Very close play there, Brad.
I'll tell you what, that was an incredible play. Garcia ranging to his left and all of his momentum going away from the bag, and he makes a back foot heel throw on a dime in time. And I'll tell you what, as soon as he threw it, I thought, what are you doing? There's no way you get the speedy Tanner Smith on the force at second, but he got it. Probably not the smartest baseball play, but an incredible athletic accomplishment there by Garcia.
Garcia coming up with a big play to get the lead runner, but you also have the risk is if you don't go get that, then you struggle in the fact that you have runners on first and second and nobody out. Grounded to the right side, step on it over at first for Grice, and the tag is applied, so back-to-back nice defensive plays, and the double play gets Davenport out of the inning. So we send it to the second, 1-0 Chatham on the Y-D Red Sox Network. Back with you here in the top of the second. John Michael Fail, the designated hitter, to lead things off for Chatham. A few singles in the first. An error was committed as well by the Red Sox, who have committed 6 errors through the first 2 games, but it was the defense last night that was very successful for Y-D. 3 double plays and some timely defense behind the pitching staff that had a shutout. And because of that, the pitchers got a little BP action today as the changeup.
A couple of rockets, too. Metal bat, but still, I'm very impressed there. I'm very, very impressed.
And the 1-2 pitch to Fail. Grounded hard to the right side. Bobbled by Ferreras, but he stays with it and throws it over to Compton. Nice persistence on the play to knock it down, stay with it, and get the 4-3 out.
Well, that's a great way to describe it, is persistence. He knew he had the time, so he didn't rush, and that's why he made the play. It was also very clear. I don't think he was surprised that they didn't field it cleanly because there was just so much spin on that ball. So he did a very good job in keeping his composure there.
And now Logan Britt to the plate. Swing and a miss on the first offering from Domkowski. A Texas A&M Aggie from Fort Worth, Texas, and a rising junior. Logan Britt hitting here in the top of the second with 1 out and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. It's the Hartford lefty on the mound, Nick Domkowski, working here for the Y-D Red Sox. That pitch is fouled out of play. Britt has appeared in 65 games, including 37 starts for Texas A&M, hitting .268, 41 hits and 153 at-bats during his career. And the fastball is up and in. That evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, the first thing that you realize when Logan Britt steps in is his frame, 6'5", 210.
And he hits it towards center field, but Knight is there to make the catch, and there's 2 outs here in the top of the second.
Lanky guy, and you can already tell just by looking at him that he has the frame to build into, but you'd like to see him buck up into it. 210 could be more like 220 if you put some muscle on.
In developing your body is a crucial part in the development of being a better baseball player, as that ball is hit well to left field and a base knock for Johnny Castagnazzi. Didn't have much time to introduce him to you, but now he's introduced to the base pass as he has a knock here with 2 outs in the top of the second. The 3rd hit today for Chatham against the left-handed starter Nick Domkowski for the Red Sox. Castagnazzi notches his 3rd hit of the season. He's hit a home run as well. Has some good power, and now Matthew Garcia at the plate. Garcia, switch hitter, swinging it from the right side. It's only 1 lefty throughout the lineup. Mentioned how Domkowski has more success against right-handed hitters than left-handed hitters, but that didn't play into a factor in the way that Chatham constructed their lineup today. They have a 1-0 lead here with 3 hits already, but an 0-2 count here to Garcia. Makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes after the high fastball.
Now, you want to play your lineup the way it's supposed to be constructed if you're Holiday, right? And you put the righties against the lefties against the righties.
That ball's hit well towards Brooks Lee, and he tosses it over to Ferreras to end the inning. So through 1.5, it's a 1-0 lead for Chatham. We go to the bottom of the second next on the Y-D Red Sox Network. A 1-0 Chatham lead as we're in the bottom of the second. Red Sox up to the plate. Nathan Baez to lead things off here in the bottom of the second. Here against the right-hander Aaron Davenport out of the University of Hawaii. The first pitch inside for a ball. Here against Baez. 3 for 9 on the season. He fouls that one back. And we haven't seen the Red Sox get too many extra base hits so far this season, Brad. The 1-1. Swing and a miss as Baez is tardy on the fastball.
Well, Baez had the double in that opener, and from there, it's really been slim pickings. In fact, only one extra base hit on the year for Y-D.
Baez, the only one who's had the extra base hit. It came in the form of a double in game number 1 of the season. Both teams 1-0-1. 1 win, no losses, and 1 tie, which counts for 1 point in the standings as Baez is hit by the breaking ball. It broke right into his left side, and he goes on to first base. So free passes to start the first and then second inning for Aaron Davenport.
And Y-D making a habit of it, too. 1 hit by pitch yesterday and then 2 in the opener. That's 4 already.
And the 2 in the opener both came from Drew Compton. Who's in the hole right now. On deck, Peyton Graham. 0-1 the count after the foul ball. Pascal Ferreras at the plate. 2 for 9 on the season. He grounds this one up the middle. Garcia flips it over to Stevenson at first, but Ferreras runs it out. No double play, but Baez is cut off the base paths, and Ferreras will reach on the fielder's choice. So Peyton Graham now to the plate, playing third base today. That's more of what he played for the Sooners. Played outfield in the first 2 games, but had some production for the Red Sox yesterday. And the pitch from Davenport, first offering to Graham, is low. 1 ball, no strikes here with 1 out. And the bottom of the second, 3 hits on a run for Chatham. Peyton Graham, 3 for 7 on the season. 1 RBI, and that came last night. Had a run scored also in the first game of the season.
Oh, he also just played a really good left field yesterday. I've been very impressed at the way that Pickler's been able to move him around so early in the year. And, of course, he likes to Rubik's Cube the lineup and see where everyone fits. But Graham is especially a Swiss Army knife.
Versatile in the field and also can hit for power as well. Launched the ball out of the ballpark 11 times this past spring. At the plate now with a 1 ball, no strike count here with 1 away and 1 aboard here in the bottom of the second. And the pitch from Davenport. And therefore strike on the outside black. Parada and Davenport the battery for the Anglers today. Davenport trying to hone in his command, but even letting up the free passes, he's followed each at-bat up in the past 2 innings with ground balls. What does he do here? Up and away. After a walk in the first, he got a ground ball. After a hit by pitch by Baez to lead off the second, he got a ground ball. Primarily works with the high fastball and the breaking ball, and can also show a changeup. 2 balls and a strike here with 1 away. The 2-1 pitch, fouled away. Graham, originally from Waxahachie, Texas, hit .288 this past season. As Ferreras, the runner at first base.
And you might want to go here.
High fastball, so the count runs full. Ferreras at first didn't go on that last pitch. You wonder if he goes here with a full count.
Well, I don't think it was an accident that Davenport elevated the fastball. I think he wanted to stand Parada up just in case. Now the count is full, and Ferreras is right there.
He is off to the races, but it's a foul ball as Graham fights it off. Trying to battle up here against Davenport.
Didn't look like a very good jump for Pascal Ferreras there, which is a little surprising because early on he's shown an ability and an affinity for base running and for stealing bases, and also he's been trying to read the pitcher Davenport the entire time, so you'd think he'd have a better idea of when to go.
Graham putting together a good at-bat. Can he win it? Another check, or a check on the runner over at first in Pascal Ferreras, but he gets back in plenty of time. So the full count still awaiting us, but Graham putting together a nice at-bat. The seventh pitch of the at-bat on the way. The pitch hit toward the right side, and it's going to be dropped in there safely. Another knock, the fourth of the season for Graham, and it came on the seventh pitch of the at-bat. Runners on first and second with one away, and here comes Andrew Compton.
That ball just hung up there. I thought it was going to dump down, but it just kept on carrying and carrying and carrying, and it kind of looked like Miller Green was a little surprised that he actually had a play on it. So right there, Peyton Graham, game of inches. He's on first base.
Drew Compton to the plate. Was 1 for 2 in the opener with a hit, but it was a big one. Y-D was down 3-0, but he brought them within one in the late innings in the opener to salvage a tie ball game in the first game of the season. Compton from Georgia Tech, Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, his hometown.
About 20 minutes from me.
Your neck of the woods?
Oh, yeah. I was talking to him earlier. There's a famous deli over in Jersey, Milburn Deli. And the first thing I asked him, because I was reading the roster and I was reading his bio and just introducing myself. I knew where he was from. He didn't even know my name. The first thing I asked him was, hey, what's your deli sandwich? And he was just shook. He had no idea. Hold on, you know the Milburn Deli? And that was the icebreaker.
That's a good icebreaker.
Yeah.
It's better than other icebreakers you hear, maybe when you're in school. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Brad.
And
I'm a broadcast journalism major. Fun fact?
Fun fact. What would your fun fact be?
Typically, my go-to fun fact is that I'm a twin.
A twin?
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty fun.
Is it?
I say so.
Okay.
But let's see if Compton can have some fun here on a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And the pitch is fouled away. Is the twin a broadcast journalism major as well?
No, not quite. Not quite.
Well, at least worth a shot.
Very fraternal in the way we operate and the way we look as well. So just think of the exact opposite of broadcast journalism.
All right, I'll try to imagine that. And our viewers will as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes here with 2 on as Y-D is trying to get on the board. And a prime opportunity here with Compton at the plate. Had 2 runs driven in a clutch hit in the first game of the season. Davenport kicks, and it's grounded toward the right side. Tossed over to first base. Runners advance to second and third. Garcia just goes to get the out at first. We saw in the first inning, he opted to go to second to try to get the lead runner, but with Peyton Graham running at first, he didn't think twice about going to first base. He got the sure out, and runners do advance, but now there's 2 outs for Cade Hunter.
And maybe you had a better read than I did, but considering Garcia's arm strength that we saw in the first inning, I actually thought he had a play at second and potentially for the double play.
I thought that a play right there was going to be closer than the play he had in the first, but likely did have a better read. because he really did take a big risk going to second, getting the lead runner in the first inning, but it ended up working out for him. So
and the difference here in this play compared to the last one is the last one, as I mentioned during it, his momentum was going towards first base, not second. Here, he was stationary, he was able to set his feet, and he definitely had a better chance in terms of momentum.
So Cade Hunter at the plate, 0 for 7 so far on the season, but 1 run driven in. He was back in game number 1 in the second inning when he grounded a ball to the right side, which brought a run home, the first run of the season for the Y-D Red Sox. Could he bring a couple home here? 2 runners in scoring position here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second as the curveball pops out of the hand of Davenport. 2 balls and a strike here with 2 away at Red Wilson Field.
Well, when you have trouble commanding the breaking ball, all of a sudden the fastball, and if you want to go to the changeup, not nearly as effective. So the number 1 priority for Davenport is land the curve.
And he doesn't land the fastball there either, up out of the strike zone. Calling balls and strikes today, Mark Chamberlain. As Parada is in front of him, squatting, catching Davenport. The pitch upstairs. Bases are now loaded for Briley Knight.
And a big spot here for Briley Knight. Sorry to cut you off, Will, but I will say while we're on the subject of Mark Chamberlain, I noticed that especially with lefties, he'll actually position himself closer to the inner half of the plate. Maybe it's just the way that he operates, but you typically see umpires go straight away right to the back of the catcher, not really the right shoulder, and it gives you that angled view of the strike zone.
Interesting way to see how the umpires operate and how they can get a good view of the strike zone.
Well, the other thing is when you're positioned like that, you have less protection. If there's a foul ball back, it's more likely to hit you than the catcher because the catcher's not protecting you. So if you want to really protect yourself, and granted they have chest protectors, whatever, but you go right behind the catcher, and that way you have a better chance.
The plot really thickening now for success for Y-D. 2 balls, no strikes, bases loaded here in the bottom of the second. That warrants a mound visit. And as a pitcher, you come up this inning, just like last inning, you let up a free pass to start off the inning. A walk to Tanner Smith, the left fielder and leadoff hitter for the Y-D Red Sox in the first, and then it was a hit by pitch in the second. A fielder's choice, which let Ferreras reach first, who's now on third. A single by Graham, which was hit towards Miller Green in right field. He dove to catch it, but was not able to be successful. Compton grounded out. Hunter walked. But now 6 straight balls. That warrants a mound visit. And here comes Briley Knight with a 2-ball, no strike count, 2 away, bases loaded. Here in the bottom of the second, a chance for Y-D to get on the board. And the wind from Davenport, swinging on 2-0, up and in was Briley Knight, and he fouls it away.
And Knight was on it. He knew it was coming. I think he just overestimated that pitch and the speed. He just misjudged it, but Briley Knight is aggressive.
The pitch from Davenport is too high, makes it 3 balls and a strike. Now Davenport in jeopardy of walking in a run. Ferreras is at third. Graham is at second. Cade Hunter, the runner, at first. And it's foul back. So now the payoff pitch awaits. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here with 2 away in the bottom of the second inning. Full count, bases loaded. And a big pitch here coming up from Davenport with the left-handed hitting center fielder Briley Knight in the box. As he fouls it away, the runners were in motion, but they will be again on this pitch after it was fouled out of play. Some great at-bats from the Red Sox here in the first 2 innings against Aaron Davenport. His 41st pitch awaits here just through. We're just in the second. That ball's hit well toward right field. It's back at the track, at the wall. It's off the top of the fence. 1 run comes across, 2 runs comes across, and here comes the third. The Y-D Red Sox are on top 3-1 here after a bases clearing double by Briley Knight.
That is exactly what Knight was looking for. A lot of people smell a bases-loaded walk, but with 3 balls and 2 strikes, Davenport was not about to walk what the bases loaded, so he just gave Knight a fastball and challenged him, and Knight said challenge accepted. He gave it a ride.
So Tanner Smith back to the plate after the Red Sox take the lead, up by 2 runs now. 3-1 the score. A swing and a miss on the first offering from Davenport. Smith was walked last time to lead off the bottom of the first. But a 3-run frame for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the second. And they're up by 2. 3 hits today for Y-D. That ball missed low. Make that 2 hits today for Y-D. Peyton Graham with the single, then Briley Knight with the double. Just the second extra base hit of the season for the Red Sox. And 3 runs driven in out of it. A swing and a miss by Tanner Smith.
And that double came from, like you mentioned, it was a great at-bat. And with 2 strikes, he was a defensive swinger. Fastball on the outer half of the plate. It was probably ball 4, and he swung at it, and he fouled it back. But the strike zone extends. You never know with 2 strikes. So Briley Knight keeping alive until the end.
Swing and a miss by Smith, so Davenport ends the inning with a strikeout, but not before a couple hits, and 3 runs come across on a Briley Knight bases-clearing double. Y-D 3, Chatham 1. We send it to the middle innings next on the Y-D Red Sox Network.
Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein with Will Connerly. Top of the 3rd inning, Y-D leads 3-1 after a bases-clearing double by Briley Knight on the last frame. And on the first pitch, a fastball chopped to the left side off of Domkowski and foul. The hitter, Seth Stevenson, a shortstop from Temple College, grounded out to third his last time up. No, not the Temple that you're thinking of. Temple College, the Leopards, not the Owls.
How'd you know which one I was thinking of?
Oh, come on. Let's be honest. All right. Y-D has an intern next door from Temple, so we all know that subconsciously you were thinking the Owls.
I had to be, I guess. You can read minds.
It's a twin thing. No balls and a strike now to Stevenson. Sidestep delivery is low on the fastball by Domkowski. That's something that we saw in the first 2 innings, is that his leg kick is actually pretty modest, almost like that slide step, but you typically only see that with the bases, with runners on base.
He's very controlled with his mechanics. It's good observation by you right there.
And the 1-1, Sky down the right field line, slicing out of play and foul.
And you see guys that have really good command, they're very simple with their mechanics. You think about spike marks. You want to have the same exact spike marks on each pitch. Repeat your mechanics. That's the most crucial thing. And he does a good job of keeping it simple.
Stevenson nubs it right back to the pitcher. Domkowski climbs the ladder for the putout. So Nick Domkowski showing off his athleticism, 1 away here in the top of the 3rd inning.
And that's the second time he's made a play Back in the first, he had the ground out. Caden Grice just chopped it to him and then climbs the ladder right there. So a couple of outs he's created.
Jake DeLeo reached on an error by the shortstop Brooks Lee. A low throw to Compton at first, but takes a first pitch fastball at the knees for strike one. DeLeo playing center field today. The lefty deals, and he smacks that one up the middle into center field. Base hit. On the ground, no surprise. That's exactly where Chatham has gone. All 5 of the balls put in play have come from the left side of the infield today.
And that's the 4th hit of the season for DeLeo. Solid hitter toward the top of the order here for Chatham. And Cape Cod baseball fans going to see a lot of him this season, a very talented player.
So here's Caden Grice, the first baseman, swings through the fastball, strike one with 1 out, and a runner on first. Y-D leads 3-1. Well, Grice, actually a two-way player, lefty pitcher and a first baseman. Plays for Clemson in his collegiate games.
And he tied the game last night with a solo shot in the 4th inning, and it was a mammoth of a home run to right field. They put it on social media. I watched it, and the Clemson slugger.
Number to the right side. Ferreras goes to second for 1. On to first, and Lee is tardy. A diving stop by Drew Compton to keep that ball in play, and the force out at second base. 2 away as Caden Grice reaches on the fielder's choice. Brings up Kevin Parada, the shortstop, who singled his last time up. Parada is catching today for Chatham, and with 2 outs, he watches the fastball make that changeup sail high by his shoulders for ball 1. So Domkowski is working from the stretch again. His 3rd base runner allowed of the day. Fastball sliced out of play down the right field line. Count even at 1-1. Parada, Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, 6'1", 197 from Pasadena, California, rising sophomore in his own right. And he was the leading hitter for Georgia Tech, 3rd in slugging. As he swings and misses for strike 2. Had a .379 on-base percentage and that slugging percentage at .550. He was incredible. And Chatham expecting a lot from him in terms of production in the CCBL. And that one is chopped foul down the 3rd base line, touched foul by Domkowski. It looked like Domkowski was struggling to really read it, had so much English on it. Wasn't sure if it was going to be fair or foul, but eventually just made sure. So still a ball and 2 strikes to Parada. With a runner on first, that's Jake DeLeo, who reached with a single just a minute ago. And the lefty deals. Fastball just misses wide for ball 2. Parada calls time, steps back into the box, takes a few little mini practice hacks, waiting for the 2-2 pitch with 2 outs. And Parada chops it over to third. Nice backhand stop by Graham. Rifles across the diamond in time. Side retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on. In the middle of the 3rd, the Red Sox lead the Anglers 3-1 right here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network. Hey Red Sox fans, Devidime is the official website developmental company of the Y-D Red Sox. They designed and developed our brand new league website and helped us with marketing to bring more fans to the games and more visitors to our website. Devidime helps organizations generate more leads and maximize their marketing budget. Check out devidime.com to learn more and be sure to like Devidime on Facebook. Bottom of the third inning, Brad Klein and Will Connerly happy to be with you from the press box here at Red Wilson Field. And so far, so good. I'll tell you what, I'm very happy to be here at the press box, mainly because we're not outside, and it looks like the wind is starting to pick up a little bit. Rain was in the forecast, and baseball gods looking down upon us. It's been pushed back and back and back, and right now I think they're expecting a drizzle in about 45 minutes.
Hopefully it can hold off. Mentioned the baseball gods. Of course.
You believe in that?
Of course.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes, sir. And
Well, Brooks Lee leading off the frame for Y-D.
No, I absolutely believe in the baseball gods. You know, a lot of players do. Think about players that don't ever want to step on the line when you're playing catch. There are a lot of superstitions.
Was that you when you pitched?
Never touched the line.
See, it didn't matter for me. I wasn't going to be good either way. But Brooks Lee...
So you had no superstitions?
Didn't matter. Nothing was going to help. 2 balls and a strike now to Brooks Lee, and the Cal Poly native, or rather alum, slices that foul down the left field line out of play. Well, he leads the team in hitting, does Lee. The Red Sox have really enjoyed his company so far, 2.5 games in, and it's going to be short-lived, and next week he's going to play for Team USA. Bigger and better things for Brooks Lee. We'll see. But the Red Sox is trying to maximize their time with him as the switch hitter pokes that one into left field, but right at Britt for out number 1.
Yes, you have like about a week left with him, but incredible talent that you see with Brooks Lee, the switch hitting shortstop, one of the top 2022 draft, one of the top hitters in the 2022 draft next year. Expect his name to go pretty high.
So here's Chase Luttrell, the Long Beach State dirtbagger, and the lefty takes the breaking ball in there for strike 1. This is the 8th time that he's faced Davenport, and just a few minutes ago in the first inning, actually, he grounded into a double play, but he has 2 hits against Davenport in the collegiate ranks. Davenport, in his conference, coming from Hawaii, had a double in his freshman year in 2019, and this past season actually had a single on him.
Familiar opponent, and you see that a lot within this league, a lot of players coming from similar conferences, a lot of SEC opponents that you'll see favorable matchups with, but
the 1-2 to Luttrell, fastball down in the zone, and Luttrell went fishing for out number 2.
Now batting number 5.
Davenport's had the best of him early on through the first 2, double play that he grounded into, and then the strikeout as well.
So with 2 outs, a first pitch fastball to Nate Baez, the designated hitter, takes the fastball for strike 1. And now 1-1 to Baez. Baez was hit by a pitch his first time up. And the breaking ball is popped up, shallow right center field. DeLeo coming on, and he makes the grab, side retired. Now the Red Sox go down in order 1, 2, 3 in the bottom of the third inning. At the end of 3, it's the Red Sox 3 and the Anglers 1. And this break is brought to you by the Salty Dog Group. Hey, Sox fans, have you thought about buying or selling a home? Emily Sheminsky of the Salty Dog Group is your pet-friendly neighborhood realtor. As part of the team at Keller Williams Realty of Cape Cod and the Islands, Emily is your go-to resource for home buying and selling. call Emily Sheminsky at 508-221-0196 or visit thesaltydoggroup.kw.com. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, top of the fourth inning, Lyle Miller Green leading off the frame for Chatham, struck out looking his first time up. 1 ball and no strikes, and the fastball misses low. 2-0 now. Nick Dominski for his 4th inning of work. And the lefty deals. Changeup made him look silly for strike 1. Miller Green really sitting on the fastball there.
Miller Green, a good hitter. Oklahoma State transfer. Hit a 2-out, 3 RBI double to kickstart Chatham's 5th inning scoring last night.
Fastball misses high again. 3-1 the count. Adamkowski, the 3-1. Fastball sliced out of play down the right field line. From the University of Hartford, and a great story. You and I were talking about it earlier before the game, that Hartford was actually demoted from the D1 ranks to D3 while he was on the team, while he is on the team. And the first start that he made after that announcement came, as the payoff pitch nicks the inside corner, strike 3 called. Second strikeout looking of the day for Miller Green. 1 away in the top of the 4th inning. But the first appearance that Domkowski had after that announcement, a no-hitter. And it was one of those real, romantic baseball moments, according to a lot of coaches around that Hartford program, because they needed it. They needed that pickup after the announcement.
Yeah, he wanted to show the people who made that decision to reconsider it. You know, the team had been successful and they've been competitive, and the board decided to demote the team to a Division III level.
John Michael Fail on the second pitch, grounds it down the third base line and kaboots it over third base. Now he's on his way to second. He slides in safely. A 1-out double for John Michael Fail.
Number 3, the left fielder Logan Britt from Texas A&M.
But you were talking about Domkowski and the importance that no-hitter had, just the second in program history. But whether they're D1 or D3, Domkowski still has stuff that scouts are very interested in the CCBL.
Second stint here in the league and looking to make a name for himself. Very competitive, very good at Hartford. He's trying to showcase that here on the Cape.
Y-D leads 3-1, runner on second base with 1 out for Logan Britt, the left fielder, who swings through the high cheese for strike 1. Britt lined out to center his last time up. That came in the 2nd inning. Domkowski comes set and deals. Fastball again, a swing and a miss. Strike 2. Domkowski typically goes with a fastball and a changeup, heavy on his arsenal against the righties, and the curveball he'll use against lefties. Fastball early on in the count to Britt. The 0-2. Fastball again, just misses wide. And Domkowski wanted that call too. You could read his body language. Shoulders a little bit slumped as that ball was thrown back.
Domkowski, upper 80s, low 90s guy with a great changeup. You wonder if he's going to go to it here.
The 1-2 to Britt. Nubbed down the third base line and fell.
And he is thinking about the fastball a lot in this at-bat. Britt, who's already seen Domkowski once. Domkowski now pitching from the stretch with a runner in scoring position, working here with Hunter. And very important pitch selection here.
John Michael Fail is on second after his double, 1 out. And the 1-2 to Britt. Swung on and popped up shallow right field. Latrell saunters down the right field line. He makes the catch. 4 out number 2. Well, you knew off the bat that it wasn't going to have enough carry for Michael Fail to think about third base. But it looked like Latrell might have had a little bit of some difficulty reading that ball in the air, especially at its apex, not only because of how gray the sky is, but also because the wind is really starting to pick up.
Yeah, 5:55 p.m. right now. Much different scene that we saw at 5:55 p.m. during the opener. Infielders, outfielders were having to battle the sun, but now cloudy, overcast, and some wind is now in effect. The conditions a little different despite the ballpark and the time being the same, just a few days apart.
Johnny Castagnazzi singled his last time up in the second inning, takes the changeup low for ball 1, but Chatham would order another single off the menu. Castagnazzi lines it right back to the screen. Count even now at 1-1.
Can you order a strikeout on the menu?
Oh, Y-D can.
The dollar menu.
Now have a Big Mac with a side of a K. The 1-1. Swing and a miss on the fastball for strike 2. Castagnazzi, the third baseman, just missed. Was a little late on the fastball.
Castagnazzi 3 for 5 so far on the season.
Failed the lefty, comes set at the belt. The 1-2. Fastball got him upstairs. Johnny Castagnazzi with a slow walk back to the dugout, knowing he missed an identical pitch for strike 2 and for strike 3. Side retired. 2 strikeouts for Nick Domkowski to strand a runner at second base. In the middle of the 4th inning, the Red Sox lead 3-1. And we'll see you on the other side right here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network. Pascal Ferreras leads off the bottom of the fourth inning for Yarmouth Dennis. Here from Red Wilson Field, Brad Klein, Will Connerly. As Y-D leads 3-1, and a new pitcher on the mound for Chatham in relief of Aaron Davenport. It's Adam Tulloch. The lefty deals and the fastball upstairs. Pascal Ferreras chases it for strike one. Tulloch is a temporary angler from West Virginia at 6'2", 200 from Weston, Florida. Originally a rising senior, so it's a big year for Tulloch, a draft year.
See all the scouts with the radar guns in front of us at the press box.
The 0-2 to Ferreras. Fastball nicks the inside corner, and Ferreras knew it.
And he is throwing hard, very hard. Lefty coming out the pen and throwing some gas in the mid-90s.
Oh, the strikeout bug seems to be biting Ferreras a little bit early on this year. Had 3 strikeouts yesterday on the road in Harwich. And now a backwards K in the book today. Peyton Graham, the third baseman, up next for Y-D. And a ball and no strikes to Graham. Now Tulloch actually transferred from West Virginia, or actually from Central Florida to West Virginia, that is. But as a junior, didn't win a single game. 0 for 4 with a 6.27 ERA. As Graham flies that one out to deep right field, but Miller Green is there to make the catch for out number 2.
Now batting number 25, the first baseman Andrew Compton from Georgia Tech.
So that brings up Drew Compton from Georgia Tech, and Compton reached on a fielder's choice, actually grounded out into a fielder's choice his last time up, came in the second inning. Well, all eyes are on the sky and the forecast, and it looks like the wind is starting to blow in a little bit towards home plate. No balls and a strike to Compton now. And Tulloch deals, fastball chased, low and away, strike 2. If Compton can keep the line moving, Cade Hunter would be next, still looking for his first hit as a Red Sox. No balls and 2 strikes with 2 gone. And Compton swings and grounds it to the third base side. Castagnazzi is there, gathers, fires, throws in time. Side retired. At the end of 4, Y-D leads Chatham 3-1. And Drew Compton grounds out for the final out of the inning. This break brought to you by Curry College. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education and graduate studies, including 5th-year master's programs. Visit them at www.curry.edu. Top of the 5th inning here in Red Wilson Field, and Yarmouth Dennis leads Chatham 3-1. Brad Klein, Will Connerly, happy to be with you. Matt Garcia, the second baseman for Chatham, leads off the frame and gets a changeup to start from Domkowski, and it nicks the outside corner for strike 1.
And hoping this rain holds off. You talk about 5 innings makes it official.
Ground ball to the left side. Diving stop by Graham, ranging to his left. Fires over to first in time for out number 1.
Wow.
Peyton Graham with a web gem.
The hot corner, he handled that so well, diving for that fantastic play right there. And you mentioned his play in the outfield. Well, he's doing it at the hot corner as well. Full extension. The second consecutive day, we've seen great web gems, one from Brooksley last night, but Graham right there selling out to make the out.
First pitch, a little nubber with some English to the right side, fielded by Compton, and Domkowski covering first, but no chance to get the speedy Seth Stevenson, the shortstop, a leadoff man for a reason. Infield single for the shortstop, his first hit of the day. Well, the school of thought is you want the first baseman to be aggressive, not nearly as aggressive as a third baseman cutting off a shortstop, but you do want the first baseman to make that play. Did seem a little far from the bag, though.
You mentioned the English on that one. That's what made it so tough. It was a funky bounce.
Actually seems like Domkowski has forced a lot of balls with a lot of spin today. What would you attribute that to in his arsenal?
It's his changeup. The changeup gets guys out in front, and the fastball upper 80s, low 90s. It's not a ton of velocity that he has, but he's able to couple that with great spin on his changeup.
DeLeo showing bunt, pulls back at the last minute. Fastball misses for ball 1.
And so I attribute weird contact, balls off the ends of bats, fronts of bats, broken bats, to having the hitter off balance. And if you can make some good pitches, you're going to get some funky contact a lot of the time.
DeLeo watches the second pitch on the outside corner for strike 1. 1 for 2 today with a single in the third. Y-D still leads 3-1. All 3 runs came in the second inning. Chatham last scored in the first. Pitch is grounded to the left side. Could be 2 for Graham if he hurries. On to second for 1, and the force is there as the speedy Stevenson just could not beat the throw.
Looks like they call foul ball here.
Oh, off the left foot.
Ouch.
Of Jack DeLeo.
And that's an ouch. That went all the way to Peyton Graham off the foot.
All right, that's why
Didn't
everyone...
mean to cut you off there.
No, everyone in Red Wilson Field was a little shaken up because you never see a foul ball off a foot carry like that, and especially the ball looked pretty much unhindered. It looked like your pretty routine chopper, maybe a little slow. But either way, DeLeo lives to see another pitch. And now a pickoff. Stevenson on his way to second. The throw by Compton. In time, got him. Oh, the lefty Domkowski knew he wanted to go and timed it very well. And Compton with a money throw to Lee covering second base.
A great move right there. He hadn't shown it yet. He hadn't shown his best move. He pulls it out right there when he needs an out. Switches back to the windup with 2 strikes.
And now a 2-strike, 2-out count for DeLeo. Pop up to the right side, foul ground. Compton coming on. It is out of play. And a souvenir for a lucky fan. So Chatham just trying to be aggressive. Base runners have been pretty hard to come by. They stranded 2. 1 in each of the first 2 innings, stranded another one in the third, another one in the fourth, and now the bases are empty with 2 outs. Fastball just missed and had the entire infield fooled. Everyone was on their way back to the dugout thinking that was strike 3. Instead, it's ball 2. According to the home plate umpire, that's Mark Chamberlain.
Chatham's been caught stealing 4 times this year just through 2 games.
The 2-2 from Domkowski, grounded to Graham. He gathers on to first in time. Side retired. Well, Domkowski faces the minimum, allows a single, and then picks off Stevenson for the second out. A ground out from DeLeo makes it 3 outs, and in the middle of the 5th inning, Y-D leads 3-1. You're watching Y-D Red Sox baseball on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, bottom of the 5th inning, and Cade Hunter will be the leadoff man for the Red Sox, leading 3-1. And Chatham sticks with the lefty Adam Tulloch. Came on in relief of Aaron Davenport in the last frame. And the lefty Tulloch retired the side in order, strikeout, flyout, groundout. Cade Hunter is 0 for 7 this season as a Red Sox. Walked his last time up, but scored a run in the 2nd inning. Came on that bases-clearing double by the birthday boy Briley Knight. And the two-seamer nicks the outside corner, count even at 1-1. Hunter from Virginia Tech. Roommates at Virginia Tech with Fritz Genther, a player who was expected to be with the Red Sox, but instead playing his summer ball elsewhere. 2 balls and a strike now to Hunter. Fastball nicks the outside corner again for strike 2. Well, Hunter broke a bone in his wrist and missed some time in 2019, but has been back, no longer hinders him. And strike 3 called on the outside corner. Cade Hunter, the lefty, goes down browsing for out number 1.
Number 7, the center fielder, Brian Knight, who is celebrating a bases clearing.
So here's Briley Knight, who, as you might have heard, according to our PA announcer Donnie on the other side of the press box, just recapped the RBI double, but he also wished Briley Knight a happy birthday, so due diligence done for everyone here at Red Wilson Field.
He did mention it?
Oh, yeah, he just did.
Oh, he didn't on the first at bat?
No, that was a miss.
Oh. Who would have missed that?
I know. A ball and no strikes to Knight, who grounds it sharply up the middle. Stevenson is there and gets Knight for out number 2. Nice play by Seth Stevenson, who played the carom off the mound very well.
Yeah, it's very tough bounce. You typically, when you're taking ground balls, you don't get them off the mound that often, so you still got to stay with it. It can carom in many different ways, and he was able to stay with it.
Here's Tanner Smith, the Oregonian sophomore utility guy. Gets the nod at left today, and the lefty watches the slider for ball 1 outside. 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a walk today. Fastball just low for ball 2. So Tulloch has actually been dialing it up pretty nicely. 95 is where he's maxed out, as that one is skied to center field. DeLeo is there. Side retired. So at the end of 5, the Red Sox still lead 3-1. You're watching Y-D Red Sox Baseball on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network. Back on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, top of the 6th inning, Chatham trails Y-D by 2. And the Red Sox have really been in the driver's seat all day. Caden Grice, the first baseman, skies it foul down the left field line, out of play. Count even at 1-1. Y-D scored 3 runs in the second inning. Chatham last scored in the first. Big swing and a miss on an elevated fastball for strike 2. So Nick Domkowski has really been dominant, and it doesn't look like the velocity has lost him either. The 1-2. Fastball chopped foul down the first base line, out of play. Domkowski has thrown 79 pitches through 5+ now. And really cruising for the Red Sox as the wind starts to pick up left to right. The 1-2 and a curveball chased low, drop third strike, and Cade Hunter completes the play for out number 1. So Caden Grice goes down for the 3rd time today, first strikeout of the day. Brings up Kevin Parada, 1 for 2 with a single. The 4th strikeout of the day for Domkowski. And the righty Parada pops it up to the right side near foul ground. Compton is retreating. He's there, makes the catch. 2 away. Drew Compton really navigated and found the ball off the bat very well, which is absolutely crucial right now at Red Wilson Field. We talk a lot about the weather, we talk a lot about the wind, but something else to really acknowledge is that since the sky is gray and ominous and a storm is imminent, the lights, not having any lights could be an issue because it's getting darker than it typically would at this hour. The fastball misses low for ball 1 to Lyle Miller Green, 2 strikeouts today.
Domkowski's throwing the ball very well, throwing a ton of strikes.
There's another 1-1 the count.
62 strikes, just 22 balls. Very effective today.
3rd pitch, changeup, chopped foul. Well, at this juncture in the season, you never really know what to expect from anyone, especially the pitchers in the CCBL. First that we're seeing of Domkowski, and even head coach Scott Pickler wasn't exactly sure. He kind of just said, hey, we're going to go with Domkowski. Let's see what he gives us. When I asked him, what do you expect from Domkowski?
And that's exactly what he's going to say about a lot of the guys that we see until he gets a better grasp on what type of players he has and how he can put them in the best position to have success.
This is likely his last inning with some action in the bullpen. A pop-up to the dugout on the right side, and it bounces on the Chatham roof. So we'll do it again. It looks like Andrew Marrero is out there in the dugout.
85 pitches so far for Domkowski. He definitely has tossed a lot of pitches at Hartford, but
swing and a miss on the changeup, making the hitter Lyle Miller Green look silly. His 3rd strikeout of the day. In correction, it's actually Jared Godman in the bullpen, so that's likely the last we see of Domkowski today. But what a way to finish. An absolute gem, and the Y-D Red Sox staff continues to shine here in the CCBL 2021. This break brought to you by Curry College. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. In-person and high-flex classes run days and even weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, accounting, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu. Back here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network, Brad Klein and Will Connerly, as the weather continues to get darker and darker, but still not a drop, knock on wood, at Red Wilson Field. And Brooks Lee has started off with a high cheese fastball he could not resist. Strike one on the swing. Well, Adam Tulloch is still dealing for Chatham. Has posted a couple of zeros in relief of Aaron Davenport, the Hawaii native. Hawaii product, that is. No balls and 2 strikes now on Lee as the fastball is slapped to the parking lot down the right field line.
6 up, 6 down for this lefty out the pen. He's been really effective.
And Lee drives that one to deep right field. Miller Green is chasing, and it's foul.
Hit the ball well, but well foul for Lee. It seemed like he didn't put a great swing on it, but it went to the fence. He just seemed like he fought it off there. Very strong hitter, power hitter. Hits high for average as well, but Tulloch has really set down the Red Sox in order the last 2 innings with overpowering stuff. Great fastball that plays high in the zone.
Lee is 0 for 2 and now in an 0-2 hole with no one out, no one on. And Lee smacks that one to the left side into left field, base hit. Brooks Lee continues to hit for Y-D and a no-out base runner, a leadoff base runner in the bottom of the 6th inning for Chase Luttrell.
His 6th hit of the year, and it's the 2nd hit he's had. Check that first hit, but rather he had a good matchup against the starter. But Tulloch, first hit we've had against Tulloch here, the Red Sox have in relief.
And Tulloch checks back Brooks Lee at first base. Chase Luttrell, the right fielder, 0 for 2 on the day, grounded into a double play in the first and struck out swinging in the third. And the lefty not giving up an inch to Lee.
And with the starter just going 3 innings, it would be a good opportunity for the Red Sox to put some pressure on Chatham here with Tulloch, who cruised through the first 2. The 3rd inning starting rough with Brooks Lee piecing up a hit.
And Luttrell showing bunt, pulls back at the last minute for ball 1. Now Lee dancing off first base after the single. He is the first base runner that Y-D has had since the 2nd inning. 1 ball, no strikes now to Luttrell. And the lefty Tulloch kicks and deals, and Luttrell just could not resist that fastball off the plate. 1-1 the count now.
And in the 2nd, of course, the 3 runs from the bases clearing double by Knight.
And again, Lee retreats back to first on the throw-over.
And speaking of night, getting darker here as the clock continues to tick. You know that rain was in the forecast. Haven't seen any sign of it yet, but that's still the storyline.
The 1-1 dances off the plate for ball 2. Well, Luttrell says one of his favorite players has always been Buster Posey, and part of that is because of the way he plays, and the other because of geography. Luttrell, being from California, grew up a Giants fan, but now wearing the same uniform that Buster Posey did when he was on the CCBL, in the CCBL, that is. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Luttrell.
And the interesting thing, we heard Buster Posey's name come up the other day when Coach Pickler talked about Luis Ramirez and denying the opportunity to go play for Team USA, stay here all summer, and he's the first player to do that since Buster Posey did it twice for the Y-D Red Sox.
Luttrell again chases the fastball off the plate. Deja vu, count even at 2-2. It's a draft year for Chase Luttrell. A lot of scouts here to see a lot of players, Luttrell included. The 2-2, and this time Luttrell was able to lay off that fastball off the plate. Now the count is full with Lee on first base, no one out, and Y-D leads 3-1. In the bottom of the 6th. Payoff pitch to Luttrell, popped up down the left field line and out of play. So we'll do it again. Lefty-lefty matchup. Littrell was 0 for 4 against the lefty earlier, actually yesterday, against Harwich. And I asked him actually about that after the game. I said, typically you're not going to get the start against the lefty, but you did here. What did you think about the position you were put in? He said, lefty-righty doesn't really matter to him. He just wants to play. He came here to play as that one, his line fell down the left field line out of play. So he doesn't blink an eye, whether he's facing a lefty or a righty. And, of course, it's a different situation here against Tulloch coming out of the bullpen, but still.
And if you ask a lot of players and the matchups and the success that you have against different players, they think there's two positions in baseball, on the field or off the field, and they want to be on the field.
The 3-2 as the runner goes, chop to the left side. Stevenson fields it onto second for one, onto first, double play. Seth Stevenson needed some quick hands to turn two. As Brooksley was trying to swipe the bag, got a head start, didn't matter. And the second double play that Littrell has grounded into today, 2 gone in the 6th inning.
Yeah, tough. 2 double plays grounded into and the strikeout. They've been getting in on his hands, and that's how he's rolled over both times.
So here's Nate Baez, who watches the changeup sail wide and outside for ball 1. Was hit by a pitch in the second and flew out to center in the third. Arizona State product checked his swing, did not go. So 2-0 the count now to Baez. Adam Tulloch kicks and deals. Fastball swung through by Baez. 2-1 the count with 2 outs now. Tulloch has only allowed 2 hits in 2 2/3 innings worked. Baez swings again through the fastball, count even at 2-2 now. But no runs allowed. He's actually done a very good job keeping Chatham in this game. The question is, can the Anglers get to the bullpen now that it looks like Domkowski's night is done? Fastball misses inside for ball 1, or rather ball 3, excuse me. So a full count with 2 outs, no one on as Y-D leads 3-1. Bottom of the 6th, payoff pitch, little chopper to the right side, fielded by the first baseman Grice, stomps on the bag in time, side retired. While Tulloch faces the minimum, gives up a leadoff single, and then forces Littrell into a double play. An easy, unassisted ground out to the first baseman retires the side in the 6th, and Y-D leads 3-1. At the end of 6, we'll be right back right here on the Y-D Red Sox Baseball Network.
Pitching for Yarmouth Dennis, number 23, Terry Cobb.
Back with you here at Red Wilson Field, the top of the 7th right now, and Jarrett Godman now on the mound, the right-handed pitcher from Oklahoma, Las Vegas, Nevada, his hometown. 4.88 career earned run average, 45 appearances, and 3 starts for the Sooners. And his college teammate at the hot corner for him as well. The 0-1 pitch, the slider. That misses low. He's working with Hunter behind the plate.
There's actually a really good lineage of baseball players from Las Vegas. That's actually become a bit of a hotbed. Chris Bryant, Bryce Harper, both from the Vegas area.
Definitely is an area where there is a lot of talent, and as I look to my left, the Y-D Red Sox bullpen all gathering their stuff and running into the Y-D Red Sox dugout. Fans starting to take cover. The drizzle now has started, the rain starting to come down, and that has had some fans start to evacuate the premises. It was just as Jarrett Godman threw his first pitch, the rain started to come down, and fans started to disperse as that ball is fouled back. Y-D has a 3-1 lead right now in the top of the 7th, and your thought is?
It's an official game.
It
if
is
they have to call
game.
it, they've made it through 5, and that's crucial for Y-D, and that's why it's always important to get up to a really good early lead, but especially in a game where you know rain is coming. You never know how long that game's going to last. You don't know if you fall behind how long you have to come back.
It's getting darker. The rain's starting to come down, but a nice pitch right there from Godman. The strike 3 got John Michael Fail swinging. He had the double back in the 3rd, but a strikeout victim as Godman punches out the first player he sees out of the bullpen. And this one to Brooksley, backhands it. Tosses it across the diamond, and a nice nifty play by the shortstop. There's 2 away. Flashing the leather the past few days are the Y-D Red Sox.
Well, you can't be surprised when Brooks Lee does something like that. He covers so much ground as the shortstop. He's a smart player. He knows where to go every time there's a runner on base. It's exactly what you need from your shortstop.
And the pitch from Godman in there for a strike. Jarrett Godman throwing the ball effectively with good efficiency here in the top of the 7th. 3 hits on 3 runs for the Red Sox. 6 hits on just 1 run for Chatham, and a tardy swing on a slider right there. 0-2 the count. Johnny Castagnazzi playing third base today, 1 for 2. 3 hits on the season. You can see some rain on the screen as well. Watching from home, coming down here at Red Wilson Field. You mentioned it is a complete game. After 5 innings, it becomes official. And the pitch misses low from Godman. Facing off here against Castagnazzi. Has 3 hits on the season, including 1 home run. Godman had a 6.49 ERA this past season in his COVID sophomore campaign. Swing and a miss and another strikeout. Nice inning of work for Jarrett Godman as he walks off the rubber, faces the minimum, 2 strikeouts, and sets down the Anglers in order. To the bottom of the 7th we go. Red Sox coming to the plate with a 2-run lead next on the Y-D Red Sox Network. Back with you at Red Wilson Field in the bottom of the 7th, Y-D with a 3-1 lead. They have 3 hits, but 3 runs and a 2-run advantage over the Anglers. 6 hits for the Anglers, out hitting the Red Sox, but Y-D with the advantage on the scoreboard as the rain has started to come down. It started to come down after Jarrett Godman for Y-D took them out, and he looked pretty impressive in his inning. And then pitching for Y-D, early signs indicate it's going to be pretty impressive, Brad.
Absolutely. Everyone can really pitch at this point, and Pickler is really never between that rock or the hard place where he has to say, okay, well, in this situation, this guy's not ready. I got to go to this guy. No. Everyone can be the guy, at least so far, and it's very early, of course, but something to look out for.
As that pitch sails to the backstop and 1 ball, no strikes. That was the first pitch out of the right arm of a new hurler into the game for Chatham. Now pitching on the mound, Cade Winquest. 6'2", 205 right-handed pitcher. Facing off against Pascal Ferreras. Here in the bottom of the 7th, Y-D looking for some more runs. That pitch is fouled back as Winquest gets back into the strike zone. Winquest, a temporary player from Texas, goes to Texas Arlington, started 9 games as a redshirt sophomore. A 1-5 record with a 6.96 ERA in 42 2/3 innings pitched. And the 1-1, grounded to the shortstop. Stevenson comes up on it, gets rid of it quickly. The scoop at first is good, and there's one away after the 6-3 ground out to the shortstop. But a nifty pick over there by Grice at first base.
Absolutely essential, and now with the rain, it's actually making the dirt a little softer. That means that they're going to have a little bit of a shorter bounce on those low throws, so a little easier to predict, if you will.
Peyton Graham to the plate now, here in the bottom frame of the 7th. 1 away, and the offering first pitch foul back out of play from Graham. And Graham has been really impressive today at the hot corner, has made some acrobatic plays. Came around to score on the Briley Knight bases clearing double back in the 2nd. Right now, that stands as your drive of the game, your play of the game, as that's what propelled the Y-D Red Sox to take a 3-1 lead. And that'd be an awfully nice birthday present for Briley Knight, his birthday today. And he came through in the early innings, came up with the bases juiced. Y-D was down by a run, and he put them up by 3 with a bases-clearing double. This one grounded to the left side. Castagnazzi gloves it, fires it over in time, beats Graham by a step at first, and there's 2 away after 2 groundouts from Cade Winquest, the new pitcher, into the game.
2 groundouts, both to the right side, and something that I actually really took from these last 2 at-bats is that fastball that sailed over the head of Ferreras, and you start to wonder how long the umpires are going to want to play this game, considering that the ball is starting to get away from the pitchers a little bit. With the rain, that's when it starts to get very dangerous.
It does, and there's different schools of thought about when you are pitching with conditions. It's harder in some aspects, but in some aspects it can be easier. It depends on the pitcher that you talk to. Do you think that a little bit of rain can be an advantage? Sometimes on a slippery mound, on a turf mound, it can get really slippery, but sometimes on a dirt mound, it can hold an advantage because it will make the field wetter, and it's harder actually for the ball to carry sometimes on those groundouts. So
it is, but you also have to think a lot. Something we never pay attention to is the actual mound. We talk about a pitcher's arm and a pitcher's footwork, but what about the actual conditions of the mound? When it's wet, it gets very, very doughy down there, and the variable of where your foot ends up and can you land safely with that front foot, that becomes very questionable because your landing spot is almost going to feel different every time.
And that's why it's really hard when you have a wet mound to be consistent, because you can slip, you can fall, and as a pitcher, you want to utilize your weight in a specific way so you can have the maximum efficiency and effectiveness with your mechanics. And you have to drive off the rubber to create that power. When it's slippery, you don't have a solid of a base to drive off of, and that's why the rain sometimes can definitely cause some problems in terms of command. I think it's harder to command, and most pitchers would agree it's harder to command when it's raining hard, because not only you talk about the grip of a ball, you've heard a lot about that around baseball lately with the grip and what pitchers need to use, but when it's wet out, it's really hard to grab a hold to those seams.
You were a pitcher. You use any of the sticky stuff?
I have before, but not really my thing.
PR answer, or you'll tell me later.
No, that's the truth.
I see you as an Elmer's guy. I could see you just taking a whole tub of Elmer's glue and just going to work.
Compton hits this one towards left. That's how the inning ends. And I guess to find out if I used Elmer's, hang with us here for the 8th. Y-D up 3-1 on Chatham as we send it to the 8th next on the Y-D Red Sox Network.
I called that cat.
Back with you here to begin the 8th. The Red Sox up 3-1 here over the Chatham Anglers at Red Wilson Field. The rain started to come down last inning when Jarrett Godman took the mound, but what also came down was some electric stuff, a couple strikeouts, and he set down the Anglers in order, but the rain, that had been a factor all day long, got to the ballpark earlier this afternoon, and there was thoughts about how this game potentially wouldn't get in, but then as the time continued to expire and we got closer to first pitch, at 5 o'clock the game's begun, and rain has just now started as we're in the later innings. Already an official game, but looking like they'll have a solid chance to complete this one as well in the top of the 8th. Y-D with a 2-run lead.
Well, hold on, Will. When you say you have electric stuff in a game that has been played with weather, that's a little questionable. You got to watch what you're saying, because I was a little scared there. I thought you saw a little thunderbolt that I was not aware of.
And I could have seen something.
Could have.
But the right-hander has looked pretty solid out of the bullpen. First time we've had to get a glance at Jarrett Godman from Las Vegas, and that storyline about how very talented players come out of that area. As the right-hander comes set, delivers the pitch, and it's sprayed foul down the left field line. You mentioned the way that he's working Godman. He's working primarily from the stretch, even with no runners on base, and the 1-2. Grounded to the right side. Ferreras easily over to Compton, and there's one away. So Chick was retired, came in to pinch hit, grounded out, and now the top of the order is due up. So Chatham going to their bench. They utilized their starting pitching in a 3-inning format. They had 3 out of Davenport, 3 out of Tulloch, and then Winquest went 1. And another pinch hitter into the game. Crosby Jones now at the plate, pinch hitting for Seth Stevenson. Pitch misses high and out of the strike zone. So back-to-back pinch hitters here to face Jarrett Godman, bringing in the left-handed hitter against the righty. Two balls and a strike here with one away. And Crosby Jones at the plate. A 2-ball, 2-strike count. Here with one out, Crosby Jones, a rising senior at Abilene Christian. 6 feet tall, 190 pounds as it's fouled down the left field line.
And Jones's appearance brings an end to Seth Stevenson for the day, but Stevenson, I thought, was extremely impressive defensively. Played a really good shortstop, and his ability to move his hands really quickly and turn two in a hurry. Chase Luttrell knows that all too well.
And that's fouled back to the screen once again. So a solid at-bat, back-to-back batters coming off the bench for the Anglers. Chick came in, and then he was put out after Ferreras fielded the ground ball cleanly at second base to begin the 8th. That pitch misses. It was a very close pitch, but not to the liking of home plate umpire Mark Chamberlain, so that runs the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes here with one away the pitch. Hit toward left field. Smith camping under it. Runs a few steps in and catches it for the second out. So 2 away here now in the top of the 8th. A 2-run lead for the Y-D Red Sox. Chatham has scattered 6 hits. It's been the pitching staff of the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox that has been solid yet again. Second consecutive, make it 3 consecutive days actually for the Y-D Red Sox all season long. Early on, you've seen their pitching have success. Nick Dombrowski with 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, but it wasn't earned in 5 strikeouts. So he pitched the ball very effectively today, the left-hander out of Hartford. And now Godman trying to complete his second inning of work. That ball is a base knock into center field. So Godman surrenders the 2-out single here in the top of the 8th.
I'll tell you what, I have no inside information here. The umpires haven't signaled anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last inning. Of course, you're going to have to give Y-D their home half if they want it, but at this point, with the clouds and with the storm coming, it's getting pretty dark, earlier than it typically would. I'm a little apprehensive for some of the players. I'm losing the ball a little bit here.
And it's getting darker. As you mentioned, the conditions continuing to put pressure on officials to make a decision about the game, making sure it's safe, of course, with no lights here at Red Wilson Field. And a check swing, he did go around. That's Caden Grice. Jake DeLeo on first base. DeLeo really swinging the bat well early on this season. His 3rd hit today. He's 3 for 4 with 1 run scored. The lone run for the Anglers. and just a very solid hitter. And we were exchanging comments with the Chatham broadcast team before this, and they said they're really impressed with his power, but also they kind of remind him of a Johnny Damon. He's just really good, gets a ton of singles quick, and a really solid hitter toward the top of the Anglers lineup.
Always good to be calm to Johnny Damon, I'll tell you that much. But player comparisons are a very slippery slope, especially at this level when the players are all really good, don't get me wrong, and they're all very talented, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. But in front of a scout, you don't want to start acting like another player. You want to blossom into the best version of yourself that you can. So there's nothing wrong with an innocent player comp on the side. Johnny Damon especially is a good one to have, but it's important for DeLeo to remember, make that Grice to remember, hey, I'm Caden Grice, not Johnny Damon.
That's a really good point, and it is a slippery slope because then you try to live up to those expectations, and that might not fit your profile. That might not be your potential, and it's up to every player, and that's a big reason why they come on the Cape, many of them way far away from home. They're doing a lot of things for themselves that maybe in college ball they had more structure, but they're here to play baseball. They're here to showcase their talent and become the best versions of themselves, like you mentioned. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and the pitch from Godman. Misses outside, runs the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes here with 2 away in the top of the 8th. A 2-run lead for Y-D. Caden Grice, the power hitting first baseman, swinging it from the left side at the plate. He's 0 for 3 today, was 2 for 6 coming into this game with a home run. And it's skied towards center field. Left center field, and diving and doesn't make the play is Smith. It was towards in front of Knight, but Smith came in diving. You wonder if any of them in the outfield, including Knight, may have lost the ball as it drops as Smith was sliding to make the play, and that makes it a run for Chatham, and now just a 1-run lead for Y-D. 3-2 is the score.
And of course, with 2 outs, Jack DeLeo running on contact, running all the way and not giving up. And that's just a great case of base running for DeLeo. That shows why you're never supposed to let up on 2 outs. And right here, a chance for Chatham to really, really come back in this game and make the umpires think twice about calling it.
That ball's hit towards center field once again, and Knight is able to corral it. And the Y-D Red Sox, 3-2. They have the lead as we send it to the bottom of the 8th next on the Y-D Red Sox Network. The Y-D Red Sox come to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th with a 1-run lead now after Chatham was able to plate a run aided by an error, and they came around to score in plate 1 in the top of the 8th. They come to hit here in the bottom frame, a 3-2 advantage for the Red Sox. Cade Hunter, Briley Knight, and Tanner Smith due up for Y-D here in the bottom of the 8th. So Cade Hunter at the plate, and it was Chatham. They've utilized the third different pitcher they've used tonight. Winquest went 1 and faced the minimum last time. Got 2 ground outs and a fly out to left field, his second inning of work. Davenport went 3, Tolik went 3, and now Winquist working on his second.
And, Will, I've received word that they're going to try to squeeze 9 in. Even though it's getting dark and even though the weather is questionable, they're going to try to get 9 in. So Y-D really could use some insurance here with Chatham smelling blood in the last frame and scoring another. It's only a 1-run ball game. Feels like more because the Red Sox have been in the driver's seat the entire time, but another insurance run would be instrumental in locking up their second win of the year.
And it's all donuts besides the bottom of the second for Y-D in their scoring tally. As this ball's chopped toward Garcia at second, flips it over to Grice at first, and Hunter is retired. But yes, insurance, of course, is always good. You want to upgrade your insurance plan. A little slim right now, but you want to get some better insurance, and if you can give a bullpen a more comfortable lead, of course that would be nice. Here comes Briley Knight, and he's been the difference maker thus far for Y-D on the offensive end. Has all 3 runs driven in. It came on a bases-clearing double in the second.
And the last frame used the center fielder who appeared to be passive on that fly ball that he was called off on, and the left fielder Smith was trying to make a play, just couldn't. And that cost Y-D a run, but I will say typically that's the center fielder's ball. You speculated potentially Knight just lost the ball, but to me it looked like it might have just been a miscue between the 2 outfielders. Remember, they only had 3 practices and then 2 scrimmages before their first game. This is only game 3, so everyone is still trying to learn the ins and outs of their teammates.
And the offering from Winquest misses away. Retired the first 4 hitters he's seen in the Y-D Red Sox lineup out of the bullpen. The breaking ball is low. Briley Knight did not go around. Ronaldo Cockrum, they signaled down to the third base umpire, said he did not, and held up on the check swing. Makes it 2-2. The pitch, swing and a miss, and another strikeout for the right-hander. Y-D, victims of the strikeout throughout the first 3 games. That was just the 5th time, though, the Red Sox have struck out tonight, and the first strikeout for Winquest. But he has retired 5 Red Sox in a row.
Now, Y-D went through a little bit of a base runner stretch earlier.
As the bat goes out of the hands of Tanner Smith on the swing. Just loses complete control of the bat, and it went toward the fence. Getting a little slippery, trying to get a little grip. Teammate Chase Luttrell passes him some pine tar, applies it to the bat. His gloves can get a better grip on it. After the bat slipped out of his hands, Tanner Smith applying some pine tar, facing off against Winquest, trying to complete his second inning of work. 1 2/3 thus far, 1 strikeout, but he's gone 5 up, 5 down as the lineup flips back over to Tanner Smith. He's the leadoff hitter for the Y-D Red Sox. 0 for 2 today with a walk and a strikeout. And 1 ball, 1 strike here with 2 outs, nobody aboard here in the bottom of the 8th. The delivery, swing and a miss, so now 2 strikes on the left-handed hitting left fielder Tanner Smith.
We talked about this a little bit earlier. I think it was in the opener. But everyone's still trying to get used to the wood bats, and it's even more slippery in the rain. So typically you have the grips with an aluminum bat at the college level, and now in the summer you don't have that grips, and compound that with the rain, with the drizzle, and it's no surprise that the bat was lost from the grasp.
Yeah, it's harder to grip. That's definitely a huge adjustment, and also that is why the league switched to wood bat and made it primarily a collegiate league a long time ago, and it shows if you can hit with a wood bat or not. But what the right-hander's doing on the mound is Winquest. He's trying to tell these hitters that they can't hit off him. 6 up, 6 down, and we're through 8. To the 9th we go. It's a 3-2 ball game with Y-D on top by a run. We send it to the 9th to see if Y-D can't close it out next on the Y-D Red Sox Network. The top of the 9th, the Y-D Red Sox trying to close things out. I'm Will Connerly alongside Brad Klein, and the Red Sox looking for their second win of the season. It would be the second consecutive night that a reliever has come out of the bullpen and executed on a save. It's up to Godman to see if he can't get the save.
And it would be an important one, as I mentioned actually at the break a minute ago, is that the umpires secretly might be rooting for Godman to have a clean inning because it's really getting dark. The weather is really a problem, but Godman has really done very well, especially establishing the fastball early on in the count and then working forwards.
And the pitch from the right-hander does get the strike called on the swing, deeming that Lyle Miller-Green, who's at the plate, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts today. And the high fastball he lays off. It was a solid pitching day today, once again for the Y-D Red Sox. 6 innings and no earned runs for Nick Domkowski. 5 strikeouts and a broken bat. Grounded to the right side. Ferreras tosses it over, and there's 1 away here in the top of the 9th.
Well, that's a tough play. With the broken bat, everyone flinches a little bit, again, sounding like a broken record, but the college kids are getting used to that wood bat. And how about the composure on the mound to really try to stab at the ball?
And the umpire just called the game off. It looks as though that's the case, so Nick Domkowski gets the victory. 6 innings, no earned runs, 5 strikeouts, and Godman goes 2 1/3 with no earned runs as well. The pitching has been elite. No earned runs in back-to-back games from Scott Pickler's pitching staff, and the Y-D Red Sox come out on top. We just took 1 out in the top of the 9th. Then the rain got too much, Brad, and it's a Y-D Red Sox win.
I'm a little surprised that they even tried to play the 9th because I kept on saying, man, it does not look good out there. But either way, It works the same as a Domkowski gem in the 9th inning, and Y-D gets another narrow win. They got 3 in the 2nd inning, and what else can you say about this pitching? As you mentioned, the starter was great. Domkowski, electric, 6 innings, 1 run, and 5 strikeouts. And from there, Godman takes care of the rest. And for Scott Pickler, it's such a luxury to be able to say, okay, who's pitching today? We're in a good spot.
It's a great luxury to have. No earned runs for the second consecutive day. Godman, the run was on an air. Domkowski, the same story. And when you can win a game, when you only have 3 hits, that just shows that your pitching staff is doing pretty good. Brooks Lee, Peyton Graham, and Briley Knight, the only hits, but of course the biggest one came off the bat of the birthday boy, Briley Knight.
Yeah, that 3-run bases clearing double on what was really a war of attrition. And you kind of figured, okay, it looked like Domkowski starting to lose his command. What's going to happen here? Not Domkowski, excuse me, Davenport. Starting to lose his command. What's going to happen here? Is he going to walk him with the bases loaded? And Knight had a couple of opportunities, but really nice defensive swings to tread water and get his pitch. Fastball, he was sitting on it.
He was indeed. We're going to take a quick break and then come back and wrap everything up next on the Y-D Red Sox Network.
Be noted.
Back with you on the Y-D Red Sox Network post-game show. It was a one-run victory tonight for the Y-D Red Sox. The pitching staff, great once again, and Y-D improves to 2-0-1. Will Connerly alongside Brad Klein here for the post-game show, and the pitching once again, stellar.
Starts with Nick Domowski, right? 6 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, and you talk a little bit about the defense, not doing that pitching any favors, but what I've been most impressed by is Y-D's ability, the pitching's ability, to continue to pitch well and keep their chin up even with errors. We saw the 5 errors in the opener, didn't really bother them, only gave up those 2 earned runs and the 3 unearned runs. They continued to pitch well, and today was the same. 2 errors for Y-D, but still got the victory. No earned runs today against Chatham.
8 errors through 3 games, despite seeing some great defensive plays. To throw that in there, Peyton Graham, Brooks Lee, they've looked good on the left side of the infield today. But 8 errors through 3 games, you've had 3 games pitched and just 2 earned runs allowed for this Y-D pitching staff. But on the offensive end today, one guy was the big difference maker, and it was his birthday as well.
Briley Knight, happy birthday, right? And actually, he was one of those guys who might have been a culprit of a defensive lapse there. But Briley Knight really continues to contribute all over the field, offensively and defensively. Bases clearing, 3-run double for Briley Knight off the right field wall. I actually thought it had the chance.
Yeah,
and
I did too.
Didn't even think Knight actually had that punch that he was able to pack, but he really does, and Briley Knight continues to shine.
And we hope Y-D continues to shine as well. 2-0-1 on the season. 6:45 tomorrow at Wareham. So another opportunity. You're going to have Adam Meyer on the mound, so it'll be fun to watch him throw for the first time. And if he can continue what the starting pitching staff has done, that will be very impressive and special for this staff that has just looked great to start the year.
A lot of pressure on Adam Meyer, right? And at this point, he's representing an entire country coming from British Columbia. And not only is he representing a country, he's also representing a pitching staff that has done a lot and has really set the table for him. I think he's going to be very successful, though. Hasn't pitched in quite a while, so we'll see what the Butterflies are like in the first and second inning, but he has some nasty stuff.
He does. Check in with us tomorrow. We'll be live at 6:35, so check in with us then at Wareham. But for now, so long from Red Wilson Field. For Brad Klein, I'm Will Connerly, and we'll check you guys tomorrow.